Hello everyone. Welcome to an exciting session on Netcore CE Analytics. As we always think of, getting some kind of visible reports or visible analytics on whatever conversions that we have or whatever conversations we have with our customers. So the two main things which we do on CE, the customer engagement platform, is one, which is conversation, and of course, the second one, which is the most important thing for a business, that is the conversion. So getting the data right from conversation to conversion is a very key thing for any marketer, which we provided on the platform over here. So if you see, there are four structures to analyze such kind of a data in form of funnels, cohorts, recency, frequency metrics, and of course, the user path analysis basically. So today we'll cover each one of them. I think the next 10 to 15 minutes we can cover up all the four topics, and this will, at the end of the session, this will make you clear on how you can extract the desirable, visible report on your conversations and your conversions. So let's start. So the first thing which we cover over here is funnel. So when we think of funnel, automatically, you know, a design comes into our mind wherein we see, okay, multiple layers of activity, multiple layers of milestones, which we see that the customer is going through. And right from the base pool to the apex point, which is, let's say, the conversion point, how the customer journey has been, where we have seen drops, where we have seen conversions, where we have seen, people uh, deviating from this step and they basically abandoning the process. So all of that you can visualize in form of funnels. To give you an example, uh, here we have a web page analysis. Basically, this means the customer visits the website and from there we track him till the point of doing the product purchase. So effectively, we have used four steps over here. One is product browse, sorry, the page browse. That means the customer visits the page of your website. Then we move to product view, which is nothing but visualizing or um, just doing or exploring the products which we have on in our catalog, and then whatever you feel that okay, this product can be useful for me, on that basis you do a add to cart activity. Correct. After this, the final stage comes out, which is the product purchase. So these are the four main milestones which you always, find, very important if you are doing analysis of your critical events. So we can create these towers as per our choice. It's not like they are fixed, towers which we just have to click on and we'll get the results. Nothing like that. You would basically have to, just add the steps one by one. Like for example, the first step would involve the page browse activity. So I will have to select, okay, on the website or app asset, I'm selecting page browse to be an activity. And from that, how many customers went to the next step of doing the product view? And from that step, how many customers went to the third step of doing add to cart? So I can set up all of these one by one. So if I want to change the events, if I want to change the activity, even if I want to change the asset, I can do that. And then finally, at the last stage, I can see the product purchase event over here. So right from the first step, wherein I had approximately 725,000 customers, and I coming, down to the apex conversion point, which is the product purchase activity, I see just 14,000 customers doing the goal event. So this basically gives you an idea how much you have invested in this complete journey cycle and how much you have got out as a business revenue, as a return on investment. So we give you a step-by-step conversion as well as you know from first step to last step conversion. Both the data are given over here. You can just toggle this from based on first step or among the steps. Also, it gives you the conversion rate overall plus the average time taken between two events or maybe from the first event to the last event. You can of course further make it more useful by adding a conversion parameter, like maybe a revenue or something, revenue, sum, average, or just the count of events. This funnel you can of course extract across a particular duration, let's say current month, last week, or any custom range which you want to select from you. And this can be extracted from an existing list or a segment, or maybe your complete data master. You can save this, by giving it a name, and then uh, you can visualize this segment. In fact, you can always take a copy of it in form of PNG or some kind of an image. So you can just take that. Plus, you can also build a funnel right from scratch. You can just go to this option and start building your funnels right away. So email, let's say I'm creating it for an email journey. Then the first step would be send, from send to open, and from open to click. So maybe I can create 3 towers one by one, and I can just select for which campaign I'm doing this analysis. Maybe a particular campaign that I have done, or maybe let's say any campaign that I have done. So I add the condition one by one over here. So just need to click on this plus sign. I'll get the next step to create, which would be, let's say, an open. So this way I can start building up the steps one by one, and I can also extend it to the web activity or the app activity, which means when I'm sending out an email with the sole motive of getting conversions on a website or app, I can track that complete, conversion, complete milestone journey from this funnel. So I can take it to the next step of, let's say, customer doing a app or a website activity of doing a maybe a page browse, or maybe doing a purchase. So this way I can get the end-to-end conversion. And also the best part is, if in case I want to save this, save any uh, audience which has failed to do the conversion, like they have opened the emailers, but somehow I haven't seen the conversions from them. So I can just click on this arrow button over here and save the drop contact segment and use it further for my retargeting campaigns, which is why we call it as an actionable analytics. Now, let's see the second mode of analytics, which is the cohort. This is not actually an actionable analytic. Here we basically create a relation between two events. Maybe I can just show you one of the existing ones. For example, you want to analyze how many customers register on your app, correct? And from that registration event, you see how many customers have uninstalled the app. Okay, so the time gap between these two events, if I want to analyze that time gap, what is the average lifetime of my customer between these two events? I can just create that over here. So for example, I can just select the condition, first condition to be new registration. Okay, and the next condition to be uninstall, which I can measure for, let's say, last 7 days, 30 days, current month, and across a particular list or segment, or maybe the complete contact master. So if I want to create a weekly or a monthly cohort over here, I can select that, and then I'll get this kind of a report in front of me. So this means, okay, on the y-axis, I have the registration event, people doing registrations. So for example, between this 4th of April to 10th of April, the system saw 319 registrations. Okay, and within the first week itself, like less than 1 week, we saw 3.45% of customers doing the uninstall of the mobile application. which further goes to 2.19% after 1 week. After 2 weeks, it goes to 5.64, then 4.08, and so on. So this is just for 1 week. If I take it for multiple weeks, right, I get a summarization of all those weeks data. And finally, at the top, I get the average generic data, which I can basically use for my conclusion that, okay, how much of my customers can be expected to be churned out, in week 2, week 3, week 4. So this basically helps you to analyze your retention campaigns in a much more better way, right? So that's about the cohort. Then we have RFM, which is the recency frequency monetary analysis, wherein on the basis of customer activity, you can create a matrix of 9 segments, which will let you know who are your star customers, your dormant customers, your new entrants, who are your loyal customers, who needs attention, right? So I can do this on multiple activities, maybe a communication activity, for example, email updates. So I can create an email metrics like this, and I can mention that, okay, measure the RFM analysis for all the customers who in the last 6 months have opened my email. Okay, so this matrix basically takes two things into consideration: the recency and the frequency factor. Recency means how recently they have done the activity, and frequency means how frequently they have done the activity. So here in this case, how the customer has done the email activity, that will be taken into consideration. So how recently he has opened the emailer and how frequently he has opened the emailer. As per that, we will put him into the bracket of stars, loyal, at risk, or any other group. If he is very low on both the factors, he will go into dormant. If he is high on both the factors, he will go into stars. And in between, you will have the rest of the segments. So as per each of the segment, you can define the campaign as well. The definition for each segment is given over here. When you take the mouse on this, you can just see the definition of the particular segment. You can save it, or you can just export it. Whatever have a use case, you can do that over here. Similarly, if I do it for an activity like product purchase activity, so this will track frequency, recency, and the purchase amount or the purchase count to make you understand, okay, these are your star customers, which means they have recently given you a good purchase revenue, or they have frequently given you good purchase revenue. So you need to take care of these customers in a much more, critical and better way. And of course, people who have been very dormant on this, for them, you can maybe plan out massive discount campaigns or massive retention campaigns. For new entrants, you can always have informative or educative communications being planned so that they can get converted into a loyal or a star database. So that is the power of RFM, the recency frequency monetary matrix. Finally, we come down to user path. This is something very, interesting for any product marketer. So if you are, let's say, managing an app and you want to understand where does your app, you know, in a whole, basically as a whole app, where does it lacks in terms of getting conversions, in terms of giving good customer experience. Correct. So in that sense, you can always create a user path analysis. Let's say customers doing an app launch. Correct. So I can create a condition like for last 7 days. Okay, customers who have launched the app, and from that launch, the next 5 steps. If I want to monitor this and understand their journey, so it's a basically collective journey, not just for one customer, but it can be for multiple customers who are present in a list segment, right? Or basically list, or maybe a complete contact master. So here we get an output something like this. So I can see, okay, these many customers, like 14,000 customers, did an app launch. In last 7 days, these many customers did an app launch, and out of that, approximately 13,400 something went to the location option, location fetch denied option. Now, this can also be, may not be exactly correct, because what we are capturing over here is the events and not the exact unique users. So a same customer might do the first app launch twice or thrice as well. Depends. He's installing or reinstalling the phone, or sorry, the application on his phone. So we can't be sure that if he's a different customer or the same customer. But yeah, if I take unique events, that is the case over here, wherein I can see these many events of first app launch have happened, and post that, the next step was majority was location denied, and out of that, the customer went to the language option, wherein we saw approximately 11,000 customers doing the language select option, and from there, subsequently, you know, approximately 8,000 customers have dropped off in the fifth step. So this basically gives you an idea where you have to place your nudges, your in-app messages, any kind of retention activity which you are planning. So which page or which step would be suitable, that you can get an idea from here. Of course, just like cohort, this is also not actionable analytic. Like you can't download something from here, which you can easily do on Funnel or RFM. But here you cannot download data, but yes, you get the count, which is more important to understand where you have to divert your traffic, on which option, where you are seeing majority customers diverting, or maybe where you see the majority customers converting. So there are multiple steps in which the customers can go, right? Some may go to this station, some may go to this one, this one, this one, like that. So it just gives you a status quo of how your journey path on the app or on the website is happening. You can make it first step to the next 5 steps, or you can do in this way also, wherein you can measure, okay, what was the last step, okay, conversion or purchase done. So what was the last 5 steps before the customer did the product purchase? So you can see, okay, majority of my customers came through this particular route, which is add to cart, checkout, and purchase. And that started majority wise through direct entry or page product browse, or maybe of an old add to cart activity, anything. So this helps you to understand which steps you need to focus more on, which steps you can bring out in the UI in a much more better way, so that the customer does not deviates to the wrong direction, and he can actually go ahead and do the conversion within few easy steps, which takes much less time. So yeah, I think that these are the four critical analytical modules which we have here on customer engagement platform for you. I hope you can always, have a look at it. If you have not used it, I'll request you to use it as soon as possible to find out what else you can, evaluate from this kind of a report. See, generally we get normal open clicks in our campaign dashboards, right? But that is not all enough. As I said in the start of the call, it is about understanding your conversions as well as your conversations. So this, you know, uh, I can say these four pillars can give you pretty much that kind of a requirement solution. Till then, thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you can, utilize this feature and come back with the questions or feedbacks, if any. We are happy to address that. Thank you.